All right, let's talk about something super important: automating device encryption. I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft Intune to make sure every new Windows device that joins your network gets encrypted automatically. We're talking zero-touch, set-it-and-forget-it security. This stuff saves a ton of time and, prevents those big, costly data breaches. So yeah, let's dive right in. Okay, so picture this: a pallet with 1,000 new laptops just showed up. And guess what? It's your job to secure every single one, like fully encrypted, data protected from the moment they're turned on. If you had to do that manually, ugh, what a nightmare. That's literally weeks of work. And let's be honest, it's super easy to make a mistake. So, what if I told you the best way, the modern way, to handle this is to not touch a single one of those laptops? Seriously, the secret sauce here is automation, and that's exactly what we're going to set up today. This is how you scale security the right way without losing your mind. All right, let's get into the workflow. From a bird's eye view, this process is just so slick. Think about it. A user unboxes their brand new laptop, they connect it to Wi-Fi, and that's it. From that exact moment, this beautiful, seamless chain of events kicks off in the background to get it completely encrypted. I mean, that's the magic of modern device management right there. So let's walk through what's happening. First, the device enrolls into Intune. That's the trigger. That enrollment tells it to go join your Entra ID. The second it does that, Intune sees this new device and boom, it pushes our security policy down to it. BitLocker encryption just starts up, totally silent. And here's the really crucial part: the recovery key gets automatically and securely backed up to Entra ID. It's just a completely hands-off process from the moment of unboxing. Okay, so that's the what. Now let's get into the how. Before we even think about building the policy in Intune, we've got to make sure our devices are actually ready for it. Getting these prerequisites right is, well, it's everything. It's the difference between a smooth rollout and a huge headache. First things first, your devices need a TPM 2.0 chip. That's non-negotiable. They also need to be using UEFI firmware with secure boot turned on, and they have to be running either Windows 10 or 11 Pro or Enterprise editions. And of course, the whole thing hinges on them being joined to Entra ID and enrolled in Intune. Seriously, think of this as the foundation for your house. If this isn't solid, the rest just won't work. All right, once we know our prerequisites are all checked off, it's time to jump into the Intune Admin Center. From there, you're going to go to Endpoint Security and then find Disk Encryption. This is our workshop. This is where we build the policy. Okay, let's talk about the main settings here. Obviously, we're going to enable BitLocker, but we're also going to be specific and choose the really strong XTS AES 256 encryption. Now, this next one is important. TPM startup set to TPM only. What that does is it basically chains the encryption key to the physical hardware of that specific device. It's a huge security boost because it means a thief can't just rip out the hard drive, plug it into another computer, and read your data. Okay, now we get to what might be the single most important part of this whole thing: the recovery keys. This is absolutely non-negotiable. We have to set it to require the backup of the recovery key to Entra ID. This is your get-out-of-jail-free card. When a user gets locked out, and it will happen, this is how your IT team saves the day. And while we're here, turning on key rotation is just a fantastic best practice. It just quietly swaps out the key every so often for even better long-term security. All right, the policy is built. Now for the fun part: actually deploying it and, making sure it works. Because let's face it, a policy that isn't deployed right or that you can't verify, well, it's not worth much, is it? So when it comes to assigning this, we're going to target a device group. But listen, the best practice here is definitely not to just blast it out to everyone at once. No. You want to start small. Create a pilot group with a few test machines, or maybe just your IT department's devices. Let it run, make sure everything is working perfectly. Then you can confidently roll it out to all of your corporate devices. And what about the user in all this? What do they see? Absolutely nothing. For them, it's pure magic. They log into their shiny new laptop for the first time, and while they're setting up their email or whatever, BitLocker is just humming along silently in the background. No pop-ups, no weird prompts. They don't have to do a single thing. It just works. Okay, but as the IT pro, how do you know it actually worked? Super easy. On any of the devices that should be encrypted, just pop open a command prompt and run this simple little command: manage-bde-status. That's your direct line to what BitLocker is doing, and it'll give you an instant status report. And this right here, this is what you want to see. When it says protection status on, that's the money shot. That's the moment you can kind of lean back in your chair and take a breath. It's your confirmation. The policy worked, the device is secure. But wait, we're not quite done. There is one last super critical check. You got to pop over to the Entra Admin Center. Find that specific device and look for the BitLocker keys or recovery keys section. When you see that recovery key sitting there safely stored, that's the final piece of the puzzle. Now you know not only is the device encrypted, but you can actually recover it if you need to.
Okay, so in a perfect world, this all just works flawlessly every single time. But this is IT. Things happen. So what do you do if a device just isn't encrypting? Where do you even start to look? Honestly, it almost always boils down to one of these three things. Go back to basics. First, get into the device's firmware, the BIOS, and make sure the TPM is actually enabled. Sometimes it's off by default. Second, make sure the device is properly joined to Entra ID. And third, just double check, triple check that your Intune policy is assigned to the correct device group. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, the problem is one of those three.
And really, just like that, you've done it. You have officially set up a system that provides enterprise-grade, totally hands-off disk encryption for all your Windows devices. That is a huge security win for your organization. Seriously, pat yourself on the back. So let's leave it with this thought. You've just seen how powerful automation can be for something as critical as security. Now that your data is locked down tight, what's next? What other tedious, mind-numbing manual task are you going to automate?